Hey, I am back uploading videos after like several months, and I thought I'd do an old creative back of mine that I made way back in early 2022, so here we go. So I made this map ages ago, and it's been cancelled for ages because I made it, and I realised it was utterly terrible. But, well, it's actually a good map, but terrible by my standards. So I cancelled this map in Season 1, and I'm going to redo it one day, but use a tour of it, because why not? We've got a very basic spawn island. I don't actually think the mechanics work, they just broke, so I just put a teleporter as a temporary fix and I never fixed it. But yeah, this is spawn island, it's very minimalistic. There's literally nothing to it other than a board, some fences, a couple boxes, and a bus, and a pier. Which is one piece. So we come into the map, and up here we have the first POI, which this is actually going to look very snapshots inspired, but I made this before I actually knew snapshots was a map. This is a little dock POI in the very north of the map. It's just a crap ton of containers in a warehouse with a truck. That's about it really. There was item places for floor loot, and I had chests with an actual working loot pool, surprisingly. And each POI had a vending machine and a mending machine. Forgot about that. So this is Daunted Docks, the first location of quite a few, and arguably the worst one. That's not on the list. And over here we have a landmark. This was inspired by the Pueblo place from Chapter 1 Season 5. This is called Sandy Suburbs, and it's just a little Pueblo town nestled in the desert. And most of this desert is just empty. There's a bunch of cacti and bones scattered about to fill it up. Up here we have dangerous... Okay, game. I forgot about that. 4 damage W. But over here we have dangerous dig site, which is like this is a POI carried over from another map of mine. It was in that map like twice across every time I remade it, and they're digging something and they've hit lava. Who knows what they've been down here? If I'd finished the map, it was some sort of 0-point crystal. It's got like these little like outpost buildings on the sides, and then you can go into here and walk around the tunnels. This end is just a dead end. And then down here we've got a camera room monitoring the dig with a teddy bear and an item placer in the teddy bear. There's not really much to that POI. And then we come over this way, we have the last desert POI, which is another POI carried across from another map, which is Ponderous Pit Stop. And this POI is very simple. It's literally just 2 prefabs and some road, a dirt burger truck. But it's a very popular location for whatever reason. It should have been popular across all maps. And what was the placement of these vending machines? Did I not know grid stuff existed? Apparently not. So I think the theming of this map was it was meant to be sort of like a remix of actual Battle Royale. Hence the name Remix Royale. Up here we have a reference to one of my other maps, which was Veta. There's a random chest there, that's not meant to be there. And this is just a mecha head, because, well, why not? We come up here, we have a random lighthouse. Clearly, I didn't have the intellectable path, so it's literally just a prefab lighthouse. Because, yes. And then, come over this way, and we have Peely Plaza, which is a plaza themed around Peely. There is 3 buildings, or well, 2.1 buildings. You can't really count that as a building. There's this building here, which is a prefab. Okay, screw the light counter, I'm getting the prefab counter going. We've got this custom Peely's restaurant, which is very empty. And by this point, I remember when building it, I genuinely ran out of, well, ideas for buildings to build, so I just built a construction site and said screw it, I'll work on it in the future. So we got a construction site with floor loop. I mean, it's good for mats at least, you know. You got bricks, you got wood, and this map of cars. So yeah, you could drive. And we come over here and we have this just little coral area. I was inspired by the tropical areas that were in Chapter 3 and Coral Castle because I like that POI. So I decided to combine them along with watching a Nova J tutorial that came out at the time to build this little coral area, which is quite nice. And coming over here we have what was meant to be the main city POI of the map, called Tiny Town. It wasn't based off like the Tiny Town map, for the record. And it's got a pizza pit. There was pizza boxes around here, I don't know if they're still here. Yeah, there is, because I had those when they came out. And then we got a modified prefab, because clearly I love my prefabs. This was sort of based off like the modern house in Pleasant Park, that's why it's got the blue theming. And we've got two more prefabs, nothing special to them. A pallet truck. These pallet trucks are quite good for materials, you could farm up from them. There's got materials, and then we had, guess what? A prefab clock tower from Craggy Cliffs, no less. And we had a basketball court just to fill some space. This was the first thing I built at this POI. And then we head over here, and we have one of many little landmarks, one of 3 I think little landmarks inspired, not inspired, dedicated to this kid that I knew at the time. He was year 7, and this is called the Cornkin Farm. It produces corn and pumpkins, but yeah, there's the pumpkins. I was about to say it's not pumpkins, like, never mind. And he built it, so that's why it's kind of like empty on the inside of both buildings. I actually built this one. Then we come down here, and we have the riveting POI that is Luxurious Lake. For one, it's very Loot Lake inspired. It's got a carbon copy of the Loot Lake house in the middle. Literally like exact, but it's worse. There's no cave, and the rooms are empty. Then there's this building over here, which was a modified prefab, and it had a car and a boat. That's literally it. And it was surrounded by some really terribly made forest, so yeah. And we come over here to Mysterious Mines, which was my least favourite POI at the time, but it's kind of grown on me now after looking all over POIs. It's just a little mining operation inspired by Swift. My English went out there, but my English has gone out the window. It was just a little mining POI inspired by Shifty Shafts. Quite nice. That's some Chapter 1 contains. Yeah. Nothing much to it. It's just a cave and some buildings. Then we come over here to the Epicenter, as it was called. And this is inspired by Nova Royale season 4/5, where like the whole middle of the map was destroyed. That's where I got the idea for this sharp terrain from, and then all around it I had this own custom like zero tree biome with bamboo and Chapter 1 rocks. There was a little cave over here. And it was quite pretty area, the map while it lasted. There was also a gas station over here, but it went on anymore arc and it just imploded. And then we come over here to the jungle corner of the map, where we have Hospitable Hideout, which was I built this map at the launch of Chapter 3, and this was very inspired by the Sanctuary. This is a modified prefab, and the rest of the POI is actually custom built. I was super proud of this at the time. I'm gonna die. Alright. I was super proud of this location at the time, but it's not very good. Like, it's kind of icky. And then come over here, and there's another reference to this kid, Luca's Magic Van, which was actually from another map of mine as well. And this place sold all his magic goods, which in this case was a blue ray gun and some chili grenades, and it just casually happened to crash land down here. Then we have what was my favourite POI at the time of launch, which is Pirate Palms. This location is made of prefabs. Is this a prefab? Yeah, this is made of prefabs, 4 prefabs, and some of them are slightly modified. There's like a little dockyard down here. And then we head up this way, and there's a hidden dough burger restaurant just in here. No reason. And then you can get down into it through a little hole on the floor. It was inspired by somewhere in chapter 1 season 8, if I remember saying. But yeah. This map is incredibly basic, as you can see by the terrain. There's one little landmark over here which was a crossover map called Rocket Bus. Another, again made by that Year 7 kid. But yeah, this was a crossover with the map Rocket Bus. It's kinda dodgy. You got some weirdly crash landed pieces. And yeah, I think that's actually about it. If I'm not forgetting anything, which I am not.